Hello, beautiful souls. Today I'm going to share with you a connection that I made recently with a huge boulder. For those of you who don't know, I'm the author of this book, Conversations with a Tree. And as you know, I always have in my little intro that I'm a nature communicator. And what that means is I'm actually able to connect with boulders, lakes, oceans, rocks, trees, and receive wisdom from them. And I'm in the process of writing a book with a friend where we're asking questions mostly of the guides of the Elohim and the Council of Nine, perhaps the Council of 12. And I had the thought that it would be nice to include, partly in the book, some connections with nature so that people can have an understanding of what is possible in our connection with the earth when we remember that we are in union with all of the earth. When we come home to remembering that we are one with nature. And nature holds consciousness, it holds wisdom, it holds intelligence. Science is starting to learn this more and more. Someone just sent me an article about trees and the intelligence in plants as well, that they're finding intelligence and that plants remember. And I also talk about that in my book, Conversations with a Tree, that they actually have research that shows that if plants grew up together and they move one plant and take it away for 2 or 3 months, when they return it to the other plants that it grew up with, they react, they respond. They can actually have electrodes hooked up to plants and they can actually measure these responses. Nature holds wisdom, and there is no sense of separation in the natural realm that we as humans hold. So when we are in nature, almost everyone feels better when they're in nature. And part of that is because nature doesn't hold that feeling of separation. It really feels the connection with oneness. So when I connected with this boulder, I received some wisdom, and I'm going to share the recording with you today. Donald and I went there and recorded this on site with this large boulder. And I'm sharing this so that everyone can understand that I feel part of what we are losing, part of what we have lost in recent centuries, is that we've become more and more disconnected from nature, and in the process we are destroying the earth. We know that from cutting down the rainforest, cutting down these beautiful ancient trees in British Columbia where I live that just can never be replaced again, and they are a valuable and necessary part of our ecosystem, polluting our oceans. Our disconnection from nature is very visible and very evident. And I believe that it is by returning to understanding our connection to nature that we are going to heal ourselves and come back to ourselves. And I feel that the hardship that we're going through right now is a part of that disconnection. And the new earth that we're choosing to move into, we will move there easier and faster by having a greater connection with nature. So I just wanted to offer this as a little introduction. I'm sharing this because I want you to understand the wisdom that we can gain from understanding that we are one with all life upon this planet. And I can make this connection, which shows that it's possible as part of our human awareness. You know, there may be some reason why this is so easy for me. I know I have a deep, deep love of nature, and nature has always been my salvation. Anytime I've been going through struggle and hardship in my life, I always find myself in the woods somewhere, being really loved and nurtured by the trees. So because I hold this wisdom, or this ability to garner the wisdom from the nature realms, and so today it is with a huge boulder, it means we all have this ability. And for others who would like to have this connection, if you feel that yearning within yourself, I know it means that you have that ability as well. And in my book, Conversations with a Tree, when I've shared that with people and people have read it, people have written me to say it's awakened a whole new awareness for them when they go into the forest and when they see the trees, that they know that the trees are aware of their presence and wanting to reach out to them and wanting to help them. So knowing this, I'm sharing it so that we can awaken this remembering of how connected we have been to the earth in eons past. I've had lifetimes in Lemuria where even I was naming parts of the earth and animals and plants. So perhaps it's because I go back to the beginning of when plants were even beginning to be formed on this earth and new species were coming. That would have been long before Lemuria for sure. And so I'm happy to share with you this recording. You'll hear Donald asking questions. So first of all, this boulder comes in. It refers to us as soul beings, which I thought was very sweet. So when it says soul beings, it's talking about humanity and refers to itself as part of the rock people. I think people being for us to be able to relate to them, and offers an overall message, and then Donald begins to ask questions, and you will hear the answers from this boulder that is near a lake that is on Vancouver Island. So I hope you enjoy this video. I just wanted to share more of my nature communication. I'm going to begin to share more and more of that because I truly feel it's a part of us coming home to ourselves, which really needs to happen right now. Finding that peace within ourselves, I feel, is so much easier when we have a connection to nature. So enjoy. There's just going to be images of mountains. You'll see me on a mountain top from when I used to live in Canmore in British Columbia, Canada, on top of a mountain called Howling, and other videos of me at Lake Louise mixed with different pictures as the information from this beautiful boulder is playing out. So enjoy, and I will see you in another video. So it started by saying, yes, yes, welcome, welcome. Welcome, beautiful soul beings. We are the rock people. We hold a different nature than you, of course, as you know. And yet we are as much a part of this planet as you are, as full of life as you are in many ways. For you see, as a rock with some crystalline nature, within my structure is much information. For as you know, crystals hold information. And so, like water drops in the ocean that you connected with last time you met, the crystals within my mass also hold much information. This information is constantly receiving. As the earth changes, as the electromagnetic energies upon your planet shift and receive new information, then I too am witness to this information, in that it is a part of my knowing. There is nothing that I need to do with it. It is more like being a recorder, one who holds the wisdom. So yes, we are here as wisdom holders. And also, we want to say that we are delighted when humans such as yourself and Donald recognize us and appreciate us. Again, as the trees have told you, not because we need that appreciation, but that we are one with humanity. We are in a harmonic existence when humanity is not being so busy in the mind that they have forgotten. And so, as you know, there is a great transformation happening on your planet at this time. And in that transformation, we are receiving new information. And that information, when it is appropriate, will be relayed to humans simply by emitting it, by, if you could imagine a projector, simply by projecting it out into the magnetic field that you live in. And therefore, the crystalline structure that is awakening within your own DNA will receive this information, this knowing. As rocks and boulders, we know when the right time is to begin transmitting this information. We do not do it before that time. And so, beloved angels of the light, to each of you we say, what a beautiful gift that you are giving to humanity at this time by gathering this information. This one who is speaking is now feeling that, wouldn't it be wonderful if the greatest amount of your book contained wisdom such as this? For this is truly what she envisioned in the beginning of this book, this new information for the new earth. For how many humans do you know who communicate with boulders and receive this information? Of course there are many, but not many in the percentage of the population. So we are delighted now to receive your questions, Donald.
Good, well thank you very much for allowing us to speak with you. So Jane's first question is, Jane is connected with boulders and often felt that they wanted to share their origins with her, sensing that they are the historians of the earth. Is this true?
We would say that the boulders that she connected with when she received that information, it was true for them. For they came here as part of a comet that landed on your earth and therefore brought life and held the history of that. But this is not true for all large boulders, because some have arisen up from the earth in a sense, which is the case with this boulder with which you speak, that I have arisen up out of the earth in a sense and carried indeed along with the glacier to be placed where I am this day, to be part of what created this lake, that dug out the land to create this lake. So I was not created in the same way as that boulder, and so I am not a history keeper in the same way as that one that she originally connected with. However, as I just shared, I hold information that can be relayed to humanity at the right time.
When you say that you came up from the earth, was it a question of the earth around you eroding, or what would be that process of coming up?
Well, it is like your mountains, and then your mountains begin to crumble, or they are moved about by glaciers. So this is what I was referring to.
Okay. Right, my next question is kind of not really relevant now that we know this. Can you tell us where you originated before you started the journey that ended in this park, and were you carried by a glacier? So unless you have something to add to that, I think we've got that covered.
Yes, indeed, I was carried by a glacier.
Okay. All right, so then could you tell us where you originated before that journey started?
So, as you can well imagine, I was part of the mountain range that is here upon this island. Of course, originated before this island separated from the mainland and the rest of the land. So I was part of a mountain range that then was redistributed by a glacier that was moving in the time of your ice age.
Okay, and how do you feel about being separated from your original location?
There is no feeling of separation. This is a human concept. In the awareness that nature holds, there is no separation. We are always one with the Creator, one with all the nature around us. Look at me. We invite you to take a picture of me before you leave. Look at me and the moss that grows upon me. I am not here alone. So I may not be connected with the other rocks that I formed from, but because of the crystalline structure and our ability to communicate, there is no separation in a sense from them at all, only a physical separation. And as you know, the physical experience is all but an illusion, we would say.
Right, so by size, you're very impressive size. To what extent do you extend below the surface of the soil?
Oh, there is very little of me below the surface.
Okay, all right. And this boulder that's adjacent to you here, were you at one time connected? Physically connected?
We were tumbled at the same time, you could say.
Okay. And can one assume that rocks have a grounding quality for humans?
Yes, of course. It is well known that rocks are grounding, for they have a nature that's very connected to the earth, very solid, less ethereal. If you think of human flesh, even compared to the structure of a rock, the weight of a rock, we hold more weight because we hold a greater dimension. And so it is very grounding for that reason, that there is more gravity connected to us, you could say, because of our weight and our density, that then is very grounding for humans.
Okay, thank you. Many people feel called to collect rocks. What is the reason for this interest and connection with rocks?
Well, it is a memory of knowing that, for example, your planet Saturn and the rings, you have this awareness of the rings around planets, and you have lived in planets knowing that these rings are made out of rocks and matter that was created when galaxies were in the process of creation and planets collide, and then the debris gets pulled into the gravity of the planet. And so it is a love from an understanding of the beginning of time, you could say, the creation of a planetary system and how it all comes about. There is a deep reverence in many for nature that they don't understand, but it's all a part of who you are, and you are of this earth, as you like to say. You are made from ashes and dust, and so there is a forgotten awareness that you are a part of this. And also then, because just as this one received a little heart-shaped rock as you were walking here today, there is a connection. It's this rock was calling to her. She could not have missed it, and she knew it was for her to pick up and to keep. And I could say it was a gift from me. Really, it was a gift from nature in the honoring that was happening this day of connecting with me. And so rocks also have this ability to communicate and to have meaning. So there is much, much more to the natural realms than humans currently are aware of. You have known it in your history, but it is long forgotten. And so more of this will come into your awareness as humanity begins to expand and grow.
Speaking of that little heart-shaped stone, how do rocks or stones feel when someone picks them up and takes them with them, maybe into their home? How do they feel about that?
They are delighted. They are being misplaced, no question. They are being removed from their environment where they may have been for a long, long time. And the elemental beings who hold them into form must then also adjust, because they must travel with the rock. So there is an adjustment, but elemental beings know that the more they interact with humanity, the more they are evolving. And rocks know that there are no mistakes in the way things unfold. And so they do the best that they can to relay anything that the one who has gathered them up is meant to learn and know from having these rocks and pebbles in their environment.
So with that heart-shaped stone, would that stone have been aware of Jane and where Jane lives and what was in store for it if Jane picked it up and took it home?
Yes, not so much where she lives, not even so much that it was Jane until you approached. So it knew that it was there for a reason, that it would be noticed and someone would pick it up. And then as the two of you approached, it got excited
Okay.
because it knew this is the one, this is the being that I've been placed here for. And delighted that she saw it and picked it up and immediately put it in her pocket.
So it was like a pick me.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Well, it wasn't even like pick me, it's I am here for you.
right,
Yes.
okay. We've often joked about going to the beach like we were last time, and you pick up a little stone on the beach, and it's taken 2 million years to get out of the ocean onto the beach, and then someone comes along and picks it up and throws it back into the ocean. That must cause a little bit of stress for the rock, surely.
Well, it is, as we said, they accept where they are.
Right.
And there was no mission to get out of the ocean, we could say. So if it finds its way back in the water again, all is well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do rocks have the desire to connect with humans in the way that trees do?
Not in the way that trees do. Trees are much more active in their interaction with humans. For, as you know, they grow and expand. They have seasons and cycles. The same is not true for a rock. And so they live more in a similar pattern of life that humans do. And so they are more there for an interaction with humans, whereas with boulders such as myself, it is a pleasure to have this opportunity to be able to express and to educate humans on our nature. However, there is no desire per se that this happen. We do what we are here to do, just as I said about projecting the information from the crystalline structure in which I am. This is our task for some of us. We are all different in what our purpose is. And we live for our purpose and not necessarily impacted by humanity's perception or understanding of that purpose.
Okay. And this willingness for contact with humans, is that out of a desire to share knowledge and wisdom?
Yes, it's knowing that this earth is evolving as everything is that is in existence. It is always evolving and changing. And the more that humans come to communicate with us and connect with us, the more you will understand your own evolution. Perhaps also you will understand your evolution away from nature and understand the need to once again return to nature as well. This would be a highly beneficial outcome.
Right. And are you aware of a human approaching, and do you feel their touch and their emotions or intentions?
We will allow this channel to answer this question from her experience. When she first approached, she felt nothing. That is why she decided to walk around the perimeter, also to see if there was a certain part of my structure that she felt called to, but also to honor me. And when she felt nothing, she realized, oh yes, we must ask this boulder if it is okay to approach and if I was willing to speak to you. And so as she began to honor me and go through this very brief, in the moment ritual, then it awakened me to her presence, to her awareness of me, to her ability and desire to connect with me. And so then I was stirred, you could say, out of what you could call my slumber of being, and willing and ready to interact. So when she first approached, that was the nature in which I am usually existing, simply being with no needs or no expectations
Anticipation,
of anticipation. Yes.
Yeah, right. Do you connect with other rocks, boulders, or mountains? And if so, is there a distance limit to the range of your communication?
Well, we have expressed that there is some communication, so yes, we do. There are no distance limits, although we are more inclined to be connected with those around us because we hold a similar frequency for the region in which we exist. So there's nothing saying I couldn't connect with the alpine mountain range, and yet there would be no purpose in doing so. The communication at this level of being is all-knowing, all-being. However, there's not the desire to be in communication. There's no purpose in it, no function.
Okay. What would you like humans to know in this time of great transition about the rocks and mountains of the earth?
They are indeed record holders. As you can well imagine, they hold the structure of the earth, and many of them have arisen up out of the earth, you could say, through your volcanoes and through the collisions of land masses. And so they hold a unique frequency and a unique nature because, again, this is why they are so grounding, is because they are so connected with the earth when you compare us with a cloud or a tree or a flower that is so fragile. So we are a part of the solid structure of your earth, and it takes great upheavals for us to move and shift and change, which of course these upheavals have happened on your planet. So we hold a structure that is deeply grounding and deeply from the earth, and we also affect your weather patterns when we are in the form of mountains and hold bodies of water such as this lake that you are standing near. And so we have many purposes of being here. Does that answer the question?
Yes, and my last question was, and it's kind of almost a repetition, is anything more you would like humanity to know about yourself, about rocks or boulders, or anything else in general?
Only to say that we are delighted that humanity is waking up to the point that the two of you are standing here desiring to connect with me and know the wisdom, the information that is held here. It is a beautiful transition upon this planet where in time people will once again be gathering around large boulders, knowing that they can also create energetic forms, geometries, vortices, and that you will once again begin to use. And so it is beautiful that in your remembering you will be called in many ways to go back to a deeper understanding of nature and all that she provides, and a deeper communion with her. And that is a beautiful unfolding for humanity and for Gaia herself.
Right, we just have one last observation, in that a fish has been painted onto or written onto the side of your boulder here. Is that offensive to you in any way, to be defaced like that?
It is someone wanting to share their expression. They connected with me. They do not hold the same level of grace. And so they chose to put their mark here. There is no what you would call emotional thought around that. However, the placement of the drawing certainly does change my structure. You could see it if you were thinking of scar tissue on your skin and how it can build and be more solid. Well, there is, it is showing me now like a curve going into the rock where
Right.
I have surrounded this drawing with an energy so that the energy of that drawing does not penetrate the mass of my being.
Would you like me to remove that drawing? Because I can.
No, the energy is there now,
Okay.
and it is encapsulated.
And a part of
So
you.
just as well to leave it as it
Okay.
is. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's all the questions that we have for you. Do you have any questions for us?
We are going to let this channel go
Okay.
and say that, again, it has been a delight to share this information with you. And we know, Donald, as you travel this lake so often, that we will be seeing each other again.
Yeah, I have attempted to connect once before, but I don't think I did it in the right manner of asking acceptance, so I'll do that next time. So thanks very much for your time. We really do appreciate it.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Mm.